I 39M resent my 38F stay-at-home wife. My wife has been a stay-at-home mom for the past 14 years. She went back to work last year 2022. At the beginning of this year 2023 she decided to reduce her hours and I said fine, do whatever you need to do. Well, she reduced her hours to 0. Last I checked, 0 hours meant that you quit your job, but what do I know? She tells me she has a job. At the same time my wife decided to diagnose herself with depression. Not depression but depression, she refuses to even say it right. She also decides to completely stop driving due to her anxiety. So to say I was blindsided was an understatement. We did the couples counseling for a few years prior to COVID and things were good. Now when I say you might want to get back into therapy, she made it clear it doesn't work. And that I need therapy since I'm an asshole. In the middle of all this she made it clear that I didn't do anything at home and that I need to step up at home. Well, I was working from home, but since COVID is now over I am back in the office and out of the house 10 to 12 hours a day. I find it hard to do laundry or take the kids to school from my desk. I also do not have the privilege of getting the kids on the bus at 8 a.m. and be home to get them off the bus at 3. I made it clear I can support the morning but not the afternoon, and I found out she wants me home both sides now. So yeah. My wife has anxiety stopping her from driving. She has depression she refuses to get help for. She has a job that she now works 0 hours a week and somehow I need to do more work at home to make her happy. I really tried to talk to her about this but she just chooses to change the subject to how her job is harder than yours and men don't do enough for her around the house. I even got forced to do all the food shopping since she won't leave the house. So I go to Walmart twice a week and it is 5 minutes from the house. I drive the kids to all the programs she signed them up for and I cook dinner 4 nights a week. I feel taken advantage of by someone who doesn't understand that doing laundry twice a week isn't a $30K a year job. Yes, she puts the kids on the bus, but now that she reduced her hours to 0 I get told she has a job and takes care of the house and kids on her own. So can I forcibly get her to get a different job? This entire I can't drive with anxiety but help does not help is driving me mad. Honestly, I'm ready to make my job 0 hours since work keeps getting in the way of everything I need to do at the house. Unfortunately my kids like food and my wife loves the internet, so if I quit the merry-go-round stops. Move on to the comment. Time for a debauchee. The most annoying thing she does, emo, was pronounce depression wrong. Everything else is bad, but that's just unforgivable. Agree. I feel like it's absolutely disrespectful towards people with depression. It sounds like she is trying to be cutesy, which yes, does feel absolutely disrespectful of actual depression. I don't feel cutesy when I am trying to figure out how to function for yet another day. Trying to make it cutesy is fine. Making light of stuff helps me when I'm not doing great. But if she refuses to say it properly ever, then that's the problem. Cause depression isn't cutesy in the slightest. Have my upvote, you clever bastard. Thanks. LOL. I wasn't sure how others would take it because it's not a laughing matter, but I got a kick out of it. Gave me a good morning giggle while being flooded with work emails. Thanks. This might be the funniest things I've seen on Reddit in a while. Not laughing at the ops situation though. I had a chuckle at the fact that this is the most fed up post I have ever read. The tone was so spot on. Possibly going to hell. I might see you guys there. Honestly, this sounds so frustrating. Can any family or friends help with some sort of intervention? She really need to do something to help herself, and if she doesn't, it's maybe time to consider if the marriage is over. No chance of her family helping. Her father has dementia and lives in a home. He has no idea who we are. Her mother hates me and doesn't even try to hide it. Her brother cut off the entire family after becoming a woman 3 years ago. We only see this one at Christmas when they slash them, ask for money. It's our Christmas present to give money. Her one sister married a super rich New York doctor and openly tells everyone how horrible men are. Most of it comes from her husband not helping her with the kids when they were little. She hates men. Very funny situation with 2 boys in middle school. And her talking trips alone to Europe on his money. The advice she gives my wife is just make your husband do it, since I know he doesn't do anything useful. She used to be a teacher when we live in the South, but does not qualify in New York since she doesn't have college credits in teaching. She was substitute in local school, but she cut her hours. All of this is very relevant and should be in the op. Also, do you not notice that you have all the puzzle pieces? Wow, op. I guess it runs in the family or something. How did you get it runs in the family? Father has dementia, relates to wife how? Mother hates op, maybe for good reason we don't know. Sibling is trans, which last I checked is fine, but op being transphobic about it isn't. Sister has views that op talks about negatively about, but is op really a reliant storyteller here? Because from his attitude, who knows what Sil is like? Yeah, the lil transphobic comment definitely rubbed me the wrong way. Do better, op. You can be upset at a very understandably frustrating situation without being rude as hell. She's a product of her environment, and I don't think that old dog can learn new tricks. I don't know if you should stay married to this woman. How old are the kids now? You need to drop the curtain on this shit show. You are like one of those passengers on Roller Coaster Tycoon who have to do all the twirls and swirls only to wind up crashing and burning because of someone else's twisted idea. GTFO, mate, for your sake and the family. Dude, go get a good divorce lawyer and make an escape plan. You can't make her do anything. You do have choices, however. You can choose to stay and deal with this, or you can choose to end the marriage. Part of our job as parents is to demonstrate healthy relationships for our kids to model. Even if you're not openly arguing in front of your kids, they pick up on tension. And being around that kind of conflict can increase their odds of developing anxiety disorders and other mental health issues. Obviously, your wife needs mental health support. If she were actively trying to work on that, it would be one thing. But she is refusing to address it with a professional. It's not uncommon for women at her age to begin to experience the effects of perimenopause, which can kick off or exacerbate anxiety and depression due to hormonal imbalances. She really should discuss with her doctor. But if she refuses, then again, it's up to you to decide if you want to stay or go. In sickness and in health no longer applies if someone refuses to pursue treatment. IMHO, of course. Exactly. It is in sickness and in health when we're both putting in the effort. Once one party stops putting in the effort, it's all up in the air from there. I agree with this. I would do my very best to help my spouse in this situation, but I would also make it clear that things need to change. I know PPL hate ultimatums, but I'd absolutely be telling me wife that unless she can have enough personal responsibility to seek help and start improving the situation, I'm done with the relationship. I'm sorry, but the depression part made me LOL. She will randomly curl up in a ball on the couch and cry just to cry. Then say, I wish things were different. My favorite is when she tells me, if you really loved me you never would have let me stay home with the kids. Now I don't know how to process that, but at least she tries to tell me what is wrong. Have you asked her about her job? I stayed home until my youngest was in school and suddenly found myself back in a workforce with people younger than I bossing me around all day. Some of my teammates are half my age. Maybe she cut down her hours because she's feeling down about her prospects after taking that break. Things change pretty fast in some industries. Would some online classes help get her back up to speed? Honestly, it sounds like she's really frustrated/embarrassed with going back to work and is taking it out on up. I have a friend who just started a job after being a SAM for 7 years, and she is so anxious it affects lots of other parts of her life. It's not an easy transition, but it doesn't really sound like either party is listening to the other, or the resentment might be past the boiling point. His wife is a substitute teacher. She didn't cut her hours to 0 LOL, she asked to not be the first person they called. She can't very well go sub for teacher that's already in their class. Yet I have a superior that's early/mid-20s who thinks being young in itself is a qualification. I've got 20 plus years of experience in the field and had to teach them a lot of what they now know about the things we do. I like them and we're a good team, but sometimes it rubs me the wrong way a little even though I chose to step down from managing. I get this. Also a Sam. Adore being one. Even at 3 years I'm a ball of exploding crazy because I feel like I gave up on my future career and my dream. It's a dialectic. I hate being home, but I love being with my son. Both are true and it is infuriating. Doing laundry 3 times a week isn't a full-time job, but the mental load is exhausting and communicating that anger at the universe is difficult and can be overbearing. She might be right, traditional one-on-one therapy might not work. I suggest looking into DBT classes or workbooks. Dialectic behavioral therapy, it honestly should be taught in high school, so FKN helpful. It is why I can be aware and recognize these behaviors in my own self, communicate them, and address them. I had to scroll really far to find a comment with any empathy. Even through Op's clearly biased description, she seems like she's really struggling and her partner has nothing but disdain for her. The depression part made me wonder if she really refuses to even say it right or if he's just making fun of her. Sad face. I think it's both honestly. His disdain and she won't accept that her mental health is deteriorating. Alternative solution, Op, tell her why you feel this way and that you can no longer sustain a non-working spouse. That she must either change paths or lose you as a partner. It sounds like this is a 2-card situation. You present her with a business card for a therapist and a business card for an attorney and you tell her to pick. And if she doesn't, then a divorce it is. But you're not obligated to be held hostage to somebody's untreated mental illness. What if she goes to therapy but she reduces her sessions to 0 hours? You appear to have contempt for your wife. No relationship survives contempt. Yup. Once that enters into the picture, the relationship is effectively over. Yes, you can force her to get a job by making her single again. She needs to address her mental health issues or find a divorce attorney. This is absolutely divorce-worthy. If you're acting like a single dad now anyway, what is a little child support and guaranteed time off, her custody time? Where is the benefit to you and your kids? You can't force her back to work, and returning with unaddressed severe mental health issues is futile anyway. She needs to address her mental health, and she needs a time limit and clear goals. Suggested goals, to be completed until she's able to cope enough to be a mostly equal partner: weekly therapy, consistent medication as prescribed by her doctor, completing a list of chores each week, and being a safe and present parent for the kids while you're at work. Be specific with the goals, and specific that this is an ultimatum. She needs to get her shit together or you're ending the marriage, or whatever consequence you're willing to actually follow through on. She's in a deep hole. She sounds a lot like my mother. Once my mom finally picked up a part-time jobs, her mental state got way better. It's super healthy to leave the house and interact with people. She probably lost sight on who she is and is in a downward spiral. Op, you married her for a reason. Try to get her the help she needs, but if she refuses, explain that you're going to have to leave the situation. It might be better for her in the long run. Sounds like it would be easier on you to be a single dad. Have you already read The Walkaway Wife and the Mental Load? I'm not saying you're at fault at all. I'm just wondering if seeing things from those perspectives might help you to understand the situation better. And I'm not saying she's not in the wrong either. She could absolutely be suffering depression, regardless of the ridiculous way she says it. But that doesn't delete accountability on her part for dealing with it. Accountability on her part for dealing with it. Accountability on her part.